Of course he's going to do that. Harlem's the one paying him, not Chris.
Conor, when he says, he's come out in the mud, you've had it all your own way, does that kind of fire you up a bit more? Because, we've seen how hard you work through this.
Yeah, I mean, of course people are going to use that narrative. I got it out the mud. But the reality is, you don't have to get it out the mud. So because I come from a privileged upbringing, I can't be a boxer. That's the reality of it. People want to get out the mud, and yeah, that's a great story, and we love a underdog story. But the reality is, you can be any background, you can be any culture, you can be live in any country, you can be whatever you want to be, irrelevant of your background or your upbringing.
Does it put any pressure on it come Saturday night, what he said and things like that, or is it just important not to overlook him?
I prepare for everyone diligently hard, so for me it doesn't matter who he is. If he's, it could be King Kong, it could be Mickey Mouse. I mean, I'm going to prepare exactly the same way. It don't make no difference to me. I work extremely hard, and I'm dedicated to the game. So for me, that's that.
I don't want to take your mind off Saturday, but I have to ask you. Chris Eubank Sr. came out today saying that the Eubank Jr. fight doesn't happen. He's not a 160-pounder anymore. He's at 187 at the moment, walking around. Any response to that? And he's saying about Harlem Eubank.
Of course he's going to do that. Harlem's the one paying him, not Chris, not Junior. So of course he's going to say that, which is a shame, because I wouldn't want to be taking food out of any of my, out of my son's mouth especially. So, that's that.
Did you hear his assessment of Dobson too? He said,
whose assessment?
Chris Eubank Sr. I guess he said that they dug him up while he was still warm. Like, that's an old term that they used to, in terms of lowering the.
Who said that? Eubank Sr.
Yeah, about Peter Dobson.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Like he's a corpse type thing. Like, you dug him up from the grave, but he's still alive. He soft opponent is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's a soft opponent until they're not. So for me it's like, he's that guy. That Mexican I last fought, he's that guy. Them fights that if you don't prepare hard, you can end up messing up. There's just so much at stake. You can't afford to overlook, you can't afford to make mistakes, you can't afford to put one foot wrong, when it's so much at stake. So for me, I prepare for everyone as if they are my world title. I've done that throughout my whole career, but that's why I've developed the way I have. So for me it's like, if it's a warm-up fight, I plan on making it look like a warm-up fight. I don't want no tune-up fights or no warm-up fights being fights that they shouldn't be. For what? Because of, not being dedicated, because of being lazy, because they're not preparing diligently. No, not on my watch.
Do you have any extra motivation to clear your name, since people will still be skeptical?
No, that's not. But that's never the case. What more do you want me to do? I've been cleared. What do you want me to do? I passed all my UCAD tests. What more do you want me to do?
I guess I mean more, do you think it's something that'll go away if you just continue to win fights, pass the tests and the commission?
People will always find excuse for my success. I've just been approved in Nevada to fight. I've been approved in Orlando. I'm approved everywhere around the world. Now you ask yourself, what's the agenda? When I've been cleared by the WBC, when I've won the hearing, when I've been approved to fight in Nevada, one of the strictest commissions around the world. Now you ask me, you're asking the wrong questions.
So why do you think they're singling you out, you feel?
I don't know. You seem to have done your homework, so do your homework on it and you'll find out.
What were some of the things that they require you to do and that you passed? Like, obviously there's probably other samples.
Yeah.
So was those other samples cleared and they just kind of went in and was like, well, it's not good enough, essentially?
Sorry, you lost me.
No, like, they always have like the A sample, the B sample. Like, what were some of the things that they, I guess, made
there was a reason why. There's a valid reason why. A WADA case study done a study on it. If you Google WADA, clomiphene, it will tell you everything you need to know. And that was the evidence.
Conor, when your dad knocked out Iron Barkley, he said he wanted all the US names and then he got the Eubank fight next. Does it feel like it might be going some way like that? Do you think if you win Saturday, he takes the fight?
I didn't even know that was the case. I know my dad knocked Barkley out in 1 round though. But for me, it's just a blessing to be fighting over here because the Benn name is familiar over here, and it's a blessing to be headlining Vegas. I mean, who would have thought? You know, at 27 years young, no amateur experience, turned pro at 19, worked extremely hard, and you know, to be headlining Vegas and see my name up in them lights is a blessing. There's
another big fight in the UK Saturday, Buatsi Aziz. Why should people tune in to you if it's at the same time?
Well, 22 fights, none of them have been a boring fight. You know, I always give people value for money. I always entertain, and that's what I'm here to do. It's the entertainment business. Buatsi Aziz, great fight. I don't know who I got in that. It's a 50-50 fight. I know Aziz probably is the underdog, but they're great fights. You like who you like. You know, if you want to watch a devastating knockout, you know where to tune in.
There's an American fighter, Jaron Ennis. I know that's a fight that American fans would love to see you and him. I mean, is that a fight that Eddie and you guys can actually get to work out? Because no one seems to want to fight.
I've been calling the name, and I know you've seen me call the name. So for me, it's like Jaron, no problem. You know, people saying he's the boogeyman or everyone's scared, or no one's scared. Do you know what I mean? No one's scared over here anyway. You know, so for me, he's a great fighter, talented, extremely gifted. You can't knock that. You know, but for someone who's had so much amateur experience and someone who hasn't, I still feel ready for that fight. You know, because the pro game is a different game. You know, if I had 33 fights, you know, fighting Van Herden, I fought Van Herden in my 19th fight. You know, so and I've done exactly the same thing. When Virgil Ortiz fought Samuel Vargas, done exactly the same thing, if not quicker. You know, when Sean Porter fought Sebastian Formella, done exactly the same thing but better. You know, so that's my comparison. So, you know, I'm ready for them sort of fights. If them fights are presented to me, I'll take them. We offer Barrios the fight, we offer Ramirez the fight. You know, so Ugas the fight, Thurman the fight. Let's make all these fights. I'm willing to come to the States. I'm not shy of coming over here.
And also Devin Haney as well. I know that's been circling a little bit.
He wasn't even in my radar, Haney. You know, Bill Haney mentioned my name. I said, yeah, no problem, let's get a fight on. And then he started being disrespectful, and you know, but I know he isn't even that guy. You know, I ain't got to always be disrespectful and brash and rude, and you know, I don't know why you want to carry yourself like that. You know, but if he wants to fight, the fight's there. He wasn't on my radar, but we can make that fight anytime.
Do you kind of relate to Tim Tszyu? Like he's kind of trying to accomplish the same things you are, same kind of background with the dad who was a champion, and yeah.
Tim Tszyu's killing it. Tim Tszyu's killing it, and I know he conducts himself very like as if the pressure don't affect him. You've always got that on your shoulder. You've always got that there in your head that your dad is a living legend. You know, Costa Tszyu's a living legend, and Tim Tszyu's, you know, doing his own thing. I can't even say filling his shoes because he's got his own shoes and he's doing his own thing. You know, he's probably the most spoken about fighter in Australia, probably the number one pound for pound in Australia currently. So, you know, you've got to rate it. You know, even through the adversity he went through, being put down early on in his career, to now getting where he is, you've got to rate it.
Conti is constantly poking at you. You're enrolled in VADA. He kind of complimented you also on Twitter. Is there like a weird? Well, he's saying he complimented you because you're enrolled in VADA.
I've been enrolled for ages.
Correct, but I'm just saying recent tweets. It's like he's attacking you and then complimenting you.
Yeah. Do you know what? Social media is a funny place. Like, social media can lead people into a false security, say what they want to say, and then I see them in person or in real life, and trust me, I promise you, this has happened to me over the past 18 months with people saying what they've got to say. I turn up, yes bro, what's happening?
That's Victor Conti you're talking about?
Not Victor, but in general, social media is a funny place. Okay. Social media is the minority. People can get away with saying what they want to say on social media, but when it comes down to it in real life, the energy is different. I mean, you saw today, just in my press conference, there's different energy. Stand on what you believe in. If I say something, I mean it. I don't pretend, I don't make up. This is what I stand on, this is how I'm going to say it, and this is how I'll say it to your face. You know, people aren't like that. They use social media as they walk into your living room, give you a slap, and feel like they can just walk back out. But when it's in person, they can't do that.
What's your prediction for Fury against Usyk?
Fury against Usyk, I'm backing the Brit. When the Brit is fighting a foreign fight, you always back the Brit, like period. That's just, I feel like it should be an unwritten rule, but people don't do that, but I do, you know.
Stoppage or?
No, not by stoppage. I don't think this goes points, but I feel like Fury, not only because he's a Brit, so forget the biasness. I feel like Fury is the size of him. He's a freak. You know, the way he moves. You try staying on your toes for 12 rounds, and we weigh about his left leg. You know, so he's just gifted. You know, he is born to fight.
Just your son's going to be here on Saturday watching you. Is he going to get that itch, do you think, in 20 years or whatever, him headlining it?
No, my son won't be watching. He'll be with my family somewhere in the back room. I'll see him after the win though.